What is going on? It's been a little of an absence, a little late of an absence. Obviously with the Bills, crazy schedule lately, and coming off a loss that we didn't really talk about. We ain't gonna talk about that tonight. Talk about this big Turkey Day win that we had in New Orleans. We're gonna recap that a little bit. Got my guy Muki Hawkins in the building. Bills beat reporter Mookie. What's going on tonight, man?
What's going on with JT?
Not much, man. Just we're gonna recap this Bills Saints just a little bit. We ain't gonna touch on too much because it's so far away now. You're so used to going at the game after a Sunday. It's been a couple of days like them leftovers. Hope you ain't throwing them out now. Get rid of them for your food
Oh
poison.
yeah, I was done. I was done the day after. I was done the day after, man. It wasn't no more. I didn't overdo it, but it was great though. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was good, man. Just relax with the fam. I cut up my moms and bro, and nothing really much, man. Just relaxing. And that was it. Just relaxing.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, thank my guy for Mookie for hopping in tonight in the locker room, and we got a couple actually clips tonight. First time. I knew me Mook were talking about get some clips out here of some questions that he asked Brian Daboll and Leslie Frazier this week. He has the 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 credentials and the presence to be able to do that. So we're gonna get a little exclusive tonight with his content. Hopefully we should start doing that every week, like I told him, man. Start getting it out there. Cause I know when they be doing their interviews, be like noon, man. You be trying to catch the recap, but be at work.
Yeah, it kind of switches up. I mean, one thing you get used to,
Uh,
them being on a routine, and then here it is. They get those stretch of you know, national primetime games. Like, they come fresh off of
right.
Thursday night football to Monday night football. So, that Thursday schedule and then, they playing Monday night, it kind of altered things. Normally you would talk to the coaches on Monday, but since that, they have an extra day for Monday night, they started it on Tuesday. Tuesday normally is the guys' days off.
Right.
So it kind of like pushes back a day now. So today is just coaches. Tomorrow is a day off. And Thursday they get back into the swing of things as far as preparing for New England.
Right.
And then, we'll speak to coach on Sunday. Then, they'll hit the road. Well, no, they won't hit the road. They'll lock in for New England for Monday night. And that'll be that. See you at the game.
Well, yeah, and that's the biggest thing. We're gonna talk about a lot New England tonight. I mean, it's Pat's week. It ain't really too much to talk about. We're gonna get in a little bit of Trey White. How can we replace Trey White if we can replace Trey White? And yeah, man, that was a sad moment to see my man go down like that. And but like I said, man, next man up, and hopefully blessings to Trey to get healthy. And if you guys did not see the announcements today, we'll give a couple announcements today. Jake Fromm was signed off the Bills practice squads by the Jets today, so he is no longer with the Buffalo Bills. Spencer Brown and Star Lotulelei are off the COVID list, so they're back for this game. Fingers crossed. I mean, they should be back, but you never know with this COVID stuff being pop up. And also, John Feliciano practice. He should be back for this week. So I mean, we're gonna need all the horses we can get versus Pat's team. A lot of people think they kind of scary. They're not as scary to me, but I don't think they're scary to Mookie either. So we're gonna talk about that. And if you guys are watching the show, whether on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, if the Twitter give us a retweet and a comment, a hello. And if you're on Facebook and YouTube, like, subscribe, share. Do all the good things. But back to this Thanksgiving Day game. We'll touch on it really quickly. Obviously, the Bills blew out the Saints 31-6. Moot, what were some things that you like? What were some things that you didn't like?
I like that they, you know, went with Breida, even though
Mm.
Breida went the wrong way on that screen pass, and that's why you didn't see him for the middle portion of that game because he blew an assignment. But at the end they stuck with it. They realized what worked for them in that game, and on third and short situations, the play action was killing them, and I don't know why. Some phases of the game they went away from it,
Mm.
and when they went back to it, you see Dawson Knox getting not only does he get a first down, he gets a touchdown. So I asked Daboll, about that stuff, today,
Mm.
and just trying to see if he can just stick with what works. What's our bread and butter? We know what's New England bread and butter. I spoke with Coach McDermott about that very same bread and butter. So, it's just that we have to have some sort of bread and butter and stick to what works. And, going down the line here in the second half of the season. It's kind of tough for the Bills. I mean, technically speaking, because they lost to Jacksonville. So every game right now, hey, it's no pushovers. When you lose to Jacksonville,
No.
every guy on your schedule potentially can beat you, because that's motivation for them to say, hey, if Jacksonville can beat these guys, any given Sunday we can knock the Buffalo Bills off. If we prepare right. So,
Right.
you know, you got to handle business this week against New England. Win against New England. Give you sole control right now in the division. Put you in the driver's seat until you play them a couple more weeks later,
Mhm.
and then you pretty much control your own destiny there. But New England has been hot of late, and everybody's riding that New England wave now. They pose as this scary thing, and Mac Jones is the best quarterback in the division now, and it's in the words of Roy Jones, they must have forgot. So hopefully the
Right.
Bills can use
Right.
that and as some motivation and do what's needed this week. Especially with Tre'Davious Whiteout.
Right. Well, one of the things, like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on this recap because I know you guys are thousand content creators out of a sudden when the Bills are good. So therefore, I know you guys probably ain't got your leftovers of the Bills Saints recap 1,000 times by now. But I like the fact that we committed to the run game a little bit more, even though we were only averaging about 3 yards, 3.2 yards to carry. We committed, and you can see the difference in, like you said, our play action pass. Even if you're not running the ball great, even if you don't have a high yards per carry, and you would like to see that yards per carry, I think up to that 4.2, 4.3 at least range. As a defense, you still have to respect it. And we made the Saints respect it. And I think there's a direct correlation there from Josh's 23 and 28, a way more efficient game that we've seen from Josh when we're out there chucking the ball 47 times around the yard. So I appreciated that fact. I like the fact that we went to a really, and James touched on this the last time we were on about the Bills transitioning to more of an outside zone scheme, and you're getting Breida in there for his speed. You could definitely see the difference between Breida, Singletary, and Mawson. Now, Mawson's inactive. I think we need to touch on that a little bit this week. If he will be active again this season, and what's going to happen with him, because we know that the Bills do not like to carry 4 running backs on his active roster, including when you include Tywan Jones as your special teams gunner. So I like that. I like the fact that we got Diggs involved early. Obviously, we can see the presence of Dawson Knox. We touched on that last show about how much Dawson Knox, how important he is. We definitely saw that 2 tutties. And now he looks like a whole different tight end. I mean, like I said, it wasn't just 3 months, about 90 days ago, people were begging for Zach Ertz, Evan Ingram, any tight end they can get their hands on. And now we like, hey, we love juggernauts. Yeah, welcome to the party. A little late. A little late on that. Me and Mook was on that a couple years ago. A little late on that, man. So,
Right.
going back to Perino and Talbot's mosh pit thing they did that night, we were there said Dawson Knox is gonna be fun. It was about 2 years ago. So yeah, y'all don't believe us? Go look it up. It's film on that. Just saying. Uh, I like the fact that the defense was stout. They treated Trevor Siemian how they should treat a quarterback of Trevor Siemian's caliber. You beat them up. You beat that Saints team up. And yeah, I know a lot of people are saying that they're an injured team, they're a battered team. That's an NFL team across the field from you. That's an NFL team that won 5 games this year. That's an NFL team that has a great coach in themselves and Sean Payton. So a win is a win. We take it. It's about stacking W's. But like I said, anything you want to add on that Bills Saints game, Mook, before we move on? We're gonna move on.
I want to add on the things that I didn't like.
Oh,
I mean, the things I didn't like. So when we talk about how great the offense played, I love how they came out. I mean, because you got to figure it was 10-0 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was still anybody's ball game. The Bills sputtered at time. I think sometimes they tend to get cute and get in their own way and stall out drives. As you can see, Josh Allen had 2 interceptions in the game. I mean, why is that? You're not effective doing too much. In the passing game where the run game is working. Just stick to what's working. So when they go off script, or soon they go to them being themselves, guess what? Other teams know those are prepared for that, and that's what happens. You get mishaps like it was 3rd and inches. and they went 1-on-1 with Stephon Diggs on the bomb instead of getting the first down,
In the
running and
first
getting
down.
the
Right.
first down, and then they had to punt. Like, so that's what I mean by being in your own way. And then the defense played great. I mean, 194 yards total, under 50 yards rushing, um, but we still don't really get sacks. You get
Right.
1 or 2 sacks a game, and you're gonna have to do something now that you don't have Tre'Davious White. You're gonna have to dial it up a little bit. They're gonna have to start blitzing a little bit more than usual to get quarterbacks off rhythm, because now hey, if you don't, quarterback's going to sit back all day, and then you don't have a guy like Tre'Davious White who can play off man or press man, or he can one side, he can play that. You
Mhm.
don't have that no more. So how do you compensate with that? You're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive. You're going to have to send some heat and match up. You got to play. You got to tweak your defense a little bit better. I mean, I can't say better, but you have to tweak it to cater to Tre'Davious not being around for the remainder of the year.
Why aren't we getting sacks? Is that coach? I mean, that's. I mean, we put pressure on. I mean, one thing I will say is that we've been collapsing the pocket this year a lot more and leaving no passing lanes a lot more than I've seen the last few years. But
Well,
once
I
again,
mean,
the sack totals are still not there.
right, because the same guys are in on pass rushing situations. You see Greg Rousseau and Espinoza starting games at times and stuff like that. But, you know, the thing about it is on third down when it really matters, you got Jerry and you got Mario still out there. And it's
Mm.
still not really panning out. Jerry's one thing I can say about Jerry, he's consistent on getting pressure to the quarterback. He just doesn't get the sacks. Mario Addison, he'll get you a sack here and there, but it affects in the run game. He's no good in versus the run.
Right.
He's getting washed. Tackles are just washing him down because he's a little on the light side. So he really doesn't help you too much in your run defense. You know what I mean? So that's the pros and cons of that. Then opposed to where a guy like Rousseau, 6'7", 6'8", and Cleeks 270. Espinoza. Those
Mhm.
guys are more stout versus the run.
Right.
So that's where you see that. Next year, you'll see a much different, front, because one of those guys, if not both of them, may not
Yeah.
be back. Hopefully Jerry probably be back signed, for a little discount. You know what I mean, to keep
For
this
one
thing
year,
going.
4 million, man.
Yeah, something like
I ain't
that
going
to
a
keep
penny
it
over.
going. Yeah, you don't want to go in. He's at the end of his career. I don't see him going anywhere else. I see that he'll give us like the he'll get the Lorenzo,
The
Alexander package.
Zoe
You know what I
package,
mean?
yeah.
He'll get the Zoe package. Mario Addison, I think this is it for him. Um, because you got Boogie Basham that's waiting in the wings as well. So you can't just
Right.
keep having these guys sit and collect dust and play around on the practice squad with those guys. They need to play right away. And after this year, training wheels will be off, and maybe you'll see a little bit more better pass rush. From a natural schematic point. But right
Mhm.
now, the Bills are going to have to blitz some guys. So. Um, I'm waiting to see what the percentages is going to be from the rest of
Yeah.
the season, or how many times the Bills blitz now per game now that Tre'Davious is out.
Yeah, I mean, and remember last year we did lose Tre'Davious for that Titans game, but then Tre'Davious was kind of hampered by that back injury last year for a couple of games, and our blitz percentage was definitely higher in those few games. And obviously, I think AJ Klein was the one who was actually getting all those sacks last year with the blitz percentage the way it was. So yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting, but not getting too far ahead of ourselves. I think you want to go into next year, and by the drafting and the people you brought in, you would like to see Rosu and Epinesa as your two starting DNs next year. That should be the plan. And as Bills fans or analysts, whatever you want, anything related to the Bills, you better hope that that's the case, because if that's not the case, then you either trade it for somebody or send somebody big, which I don't see that happening. Or B, you're behind schedule, and you do not want to be behind schedule with these guys going into their second, third year. And you do want Boogie Bash from being your third rotational guy. But I will tell you one thing. If the Jets do not retain Shaq Lawson, one guy I'm all for bringing back in-house here as a rotational player. Love the culture of him having him here. He was a great guy in the locker room, and he knows the system. Just throwing it out there now because then I could come back in 8 months if it randomly happens. Say, yeah, I told you so. Just gonna throw it out there now.
That may happen now. That could happen. That could happen.
Just throwing it out there. Shaq loves Buffalo. I've seen Shaq blow the fans a kiss the other week. So, But yeah, I mean, like I said, the Bills did what they're supposed to do in New Orleans. That was a banged up team. They beat them. But we got to move on. We got to move on. Tre White, man. How do we replace him? Is there anybody in this roster to replace him? Do we go a couple games with the young guys? So we got Dane Jackson, we got Nick McLeod there still, we got Cam Lewis. Do we see if one of these guys can replace him and before we bring in a veteran, or should we bring in a veteran now? What are you thinking, man? Tre White, ACL, gone for the year.
All right, well, let's just first thing, we know what's on our roster, right?
Right.
All right, so we know what we have on our roster. They've been on our roster since training camp. They're familiar with our scheme. They're familiar with our system. We're developing some of the guys. We're developing all of them, basically. All of those guys are in development stages when you really look at it. Mm-hmm. So we know what we got in their building. Next question is, what's out there? EJ Gaines?
I'm done with EJ. I'm not.
Daryl Worley?
Yeah, nope.
Quentin Dunbar?
Interesting name right there.
That's it. The Quentin Dunbar is it. And I know, Bills don't have nothing, that's more, nothing appealing, other than Dane Jackson, Cam Lewis. You got Elijah Griffin. They just signed
Tim Harris.
Yeah. They got Nick McLeod. So one thing I can say that in some of those corners that the Bills have are, there's some big corners, 6'1", 6'2". Right. Tim Harris, 6'1", 6'2" guy. McLeod, 6'1", 6'2". So I think, the Bills more or less, like to hang their hat on guys they develop. And, so they're not household names. So it seems like, hey, it's a state of panic because you don't have Tre White. That's why I asked those questions. I asked Frazier today. I'm telling you, man, like, y'all going to have to dial this thing up. Ain't no way if and buts around it. You're not going to be able to replace Tre'Davious White at all. He's one of the top corners in the NFL. You don't replace that. You don't have another guy on your bench that you can say that he plays like Tre White. That's just not going to happen.
I actually want to get into that clip. As my man Cody Wells tells us, Vontae Davis is still at the waiting at the bus stop. Legend has it. So, but yeah, I want to.
I've been waiting at the bus stop. They wouldn't let me leave, dog.
Actually, I want to play that clip about what you asked Leslie Frazier. Was that today? That was today, yes. Right? Today, and then his response.
This Patriot offense, coach, they run multiple studs. I know that's a headache in itself, but Patriots have mastered one thing, and that's that sweep. How difficult will it be to prepare for that, especially when they could run it to either play side or backside? And will you have to dial it up a little bit more without having Tre out there?
You're right. They do a good job of running that toss sweep either way, front side or to the backside. They do a great job with that, executing it. And we'll have to do a good job of trying to defend it and slow them down when they're doing it. As far as strategy without Tre'Davious, we'll see how the game goes and what we need to do. We're still in the early processes of putting things together for that ball game. And we'll see how it goes as the week goes on, as we become more familiar with their offense.
Yes, sir. Great week of practice, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Coach Frazier, to me, he sounds like, he pretty much saying, we all know you can't replace Tre White with one player. Tre White is arguably, and I think he solidified himself as a top 3 cornerback in the league just by his play this season in the early parts. You can't replace Tre White with a player. It has to be a scheme. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, if we have 2 coaches on this coaching staff, and Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier, 2 great football minds, and let's not forget, we do have the best safety tandem duo in the NFL. That's not arguable anymore at this point. It's going to be a scheme. It's not going to be one player. You got to, like I said, you got to get sacks. It's going to come from that D line. And there's no excuse for us not to finally, the D line to come alive and play the way they need to play, because we've been the number one allocated D line in salary cap space over the last 4 years because we have so many and we rotate. It's time for them to step up and do their job and get sacks. Now, I'll give it to them. They've closed the pocket this year. They've created havoc. They've created pressure that has led to turnovers. One thing that we did not see in 2020. This year we have. But scheme. What are you thinking they got to do, man? I mean, who's the key to this? Because I don't think it's anybody necessarily in the secondary. It's got to be up front.
I think it has to be Capitals and Louis. 5-4. You're right. No, they didn't. Oh, wow. Sorry for that, y'all. I had a bet. Saying that the Capitals would beat the Panthers. I took them +1, so I even out if that's the case. But yeah, if you took the over, you're a winner. You know what I mean? I do sports betting too, so sorry about that. But yeah, I think that it has to be up front. I mean, you got Starlo Tulele back, off of COVID finally. So, Ed Oliver's been definitely holding it down without him.
Yeah,
so it makes you wonder now what Ed is capable of when Star is alongside of him. Okay, and I want to see more of Russo, and I want to see more of Espinoza. I want to see more of that. Brandon Bryant wasn't bad out there in the benching of Vernon Butler. If you don't know who Brandon Bryant is, it's number 90. Okay, I think he played kind of solid. Out there. I think it's going to take a lot of guys. It's going to take AJ Klein to be out there. It's going to take a complete team effort to make that work. And it's not going to be like one X factor guy that you can replace with Tre'Davious White. I think it's going to take a great scheme, an aggressive scheme. I think it's going to take an aggressive scheme. And, how coach always mimic everybody needs to do their 111th. It's going to take an aggressive scheme for those guys to do that, and if they have the pieces to do it, but they got to put the aggressive scheme in there. I mean, send some safety blitzes, send some Matt Milano coming down the pipe. I mean, you got to stir things up. You got to be a little bit more creative. Don't let New England just read the coverage of what it is on film and then it just be that. We don't. We gotta learn how to disguise things momentarily and blitz him, because he's only going to have a certain amount of time to correct it. And by the time he makes that correction, he should be either under duress or on his back. So, that's where I think. And, the Bills, they don't blitz as much. They're not a blitzing team at all. They're a team that rely on four-man pressure to get, pressure due to the fact that your back end is so good. Right now, you're losing your best player on that back end. So you have to compensate by, being a little bit more aggressive, pressing the issue a little bit more and making teams a little bit more uncomfortable than usual by playing a more aggressive style of defense. So, if that can happen, then, they'll treat New England like it was last year.
I don't want to understate the fact that Levi Wallace and Teron Johnson in particular are having the best seasons to me of their NFL careers.
Yeah.
Levi has been very consistent to me this season, along with Teron. I mean, I can't even speak about Teron's play. Teron has been, I think his coverage is 10 times better than it was last year, because I was always suspect of his coverage and he's done a lot better with that. But I mean, we'll see what happens. One guy I'd like to see more of is Saran Neal. Not necessarily in coverage, but if you go back to Saran Neal versus the Texans in the wild card game that year, his blitzing is very good, and it probably coincides with the fact that he's such a good gunner. I would like to see different things, but like you said, Mook, you're going to see a lot of different people. AJ Klein, Saran Neal, Dane Jackson. Jaquan Johnson, if you want to someone, it's going to take a village to replace the loss of Tre'Davious White. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. But no, I mean, if anybody get done, I think Daboll Frazier get done. Sean McDermott, they'll scheme things up. They've been around this league a long time. They've seen things. They've had people go down. They'll figure this thing out. But one of the things I want to talk about Levi Wallace really quick and just touch on is, sometimes we see this, and we saw this with J.C. Jackson, particularly, or talk about New England, when Stephon Gilmore went out. Sometimes when that number 2 corner has to step up into a number 1 role, which Levi is a number 1 corner right now, it elevates their game. And when that guy eventually comes back, with Tre White will come back, that number 2 corner is also now a number 1 corner. I mean, because they had to go against the best of the best week in and week out, they had to assume that role. At the end of the day, now your secondary has become complete. Sometimes it happens that way. We've seen it multiple times over the years. Just saying. So I got a lot of faith in Levi. I got a lot of faith in Lisa Legend Frazier. Sean McDermott.
I don't know about all that.
I'm trying. I've been trying to get you on this Levi train, man.
Man, you got to be a dog. See, the difference is Tre'Davious White. He's a dog to the point where teams don't even throw his way. That's called a dog. It's a dog over there. Why throw over there when it's a dog over there? Well, but we got this little nasty poodle over on his other side. He's a nasty. He's feisty. You know what I mean? He'll bite you at times. You know what I mean? But he ain't a dog like that pit bull over there that's ready to go.
No.
And now we're going to see. Here it is. Contract year, Levi. The opportunity's here. Are you number 1 cornerback status? Or do you be the wink and do Dane Jackson rise to the occasion? You know what I mean? So it's a lot of pressure on the guy. I want to see him be more aggressive. If he can come with that dog mentality and be aggressive, he has the size, he has the length, but we need him to be more nasty. We need him to be more aggressive. The whole game, not just pieces and bits of the game. The whole entire game. All right. So, it's put up or shut up time, for Levi. And, he's got the rest of the season to prove that, he's worthy of a contract. And, Dane Jackson, he's under contract, but this here is gonna, be the tail of the tape of Levi Wallace. I hope, he's up to the challenge, because teams are definitely going to throw at him. He's going to be against Kendrick Bourne. And here it is on the flip side. They're saying that, Levi don't like physical receivers. How in the hell can someone say that about a defensive guy? Me personally, I have a problem with that. You know what I mean? If someone says that he doesn't like physical receivers, how the hell anybody on the defense don't like anybody that's physical on offense for that matter? Or he struggle or have a problem with physical receivers. I have a problem with someone going around saying that about me.
No, well, we gonna see. Like I said, man, I hope Levi read the headlines, man. I want Levi to read the headlines. I want Levi to get this attention, because I've been pushing for this attention for Levi for a minute. So I want him to get it. Like I said, I'm big on Levi. But we're gonna see what happens. We don't know what life is like without Tre White, and we about to find out. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking. I ain't gonna lie. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. But hey, we're about halfway through the show. Actually, we're a little bit more than halfway through the show. We only got 2 more segments. But you know what time it is. That means it is time for that bad take segment. And where we go around different pages and find bad takes. I don't throw the names out there no more, because that could lead to some problems. But as you guys know, your favorite segment, bad takes. Let's get it. So for the first bad take of the night, this one is from it seemed like a Patriot fan, and he says, life as a Bills fan. For the past 20 years, they lived under the boots of Tom Brady and the boots of Bill Belichick. Then Brady leaves and the sun starts to shine on them for what seemed like 20 minutes. And now here comes the other boot of Bill Belichick, the Mac Jones with his Opie Taylor face on it. So, I mean, first of all, you call it Mac Jones Opie. That ain't cool. That ain't cool. I don't care what's post. That ain't cool. You ain't gonna call him Matt. You ain't gonna call him Opie. That ain't cool. But I mean, you know what? if you think that the Patriots will come into Buffalo and beat them on Monday Night Football, by all means, good. You should. They're 7-4, right? They balling, right? Okay, cool, great. We'll see what happens. Bad take number 2 of the night. I am so sorry for you, Bills fans. Had to grow up as Bills fans. Honestly, prayers to you guys. The hell you sorry us for? I was a kid in the 1990s. Not seen for a Super Bowl team. I didn't even know that you weren't even supposed to go to the Super Bowl that many times. Huh? Don't be sorry for me. I'm cool.
They a little tight. They a little mad. They team lost.
All right, they're a little salty. Bad take number 3 of the week is we need a new quarterback. Okay, this every time someone puts a take out there like that, I'm gonna put it on the show because that is such an utterly and horrible take. But fine, whatever. Bad take number 4. This is from the Saints game. Play calling looks just wrong. Exact opposite of our strength. Strengths. Why feature or run our entire offensive game plan around a third string running back? Let me talk about Matt Breida like that.
Matt shot with that one.
Right, Matt Breida didn't play in the Super Bowl. It was number 1. Don't talk about Matt Breida like that. That ain't cool, man. And final take that usually James does the drum roll, but James ain't here, so I do my own. You got to move. Mook got the drum roll tonight. Okay, final take of the night. Bad take is laugh out loud. Y'all think you playing good. You playing a bad Saints team with a backup quarterback. Haven't beat anyone good this year. You beat the Chiefs when they were awful. So who have y'all really beat? What? What do you mean? Who have we really beat? What does that even mean? So the Chiefs are good now, but we beat them when they were bad? That don't even make any damn sense. Whatever, man. That is your bad takes for the week. If you guys see the bad takes, continue to send them in. But yeah, horrible takes. Just awful.
My drum wasn't as good as James. I got to work on that a little bit.
It's all good, you know. It's all good, you know. James had a lot of practice at this drum roll prees, you know. But before I get to the last segment, I want to talk about what Breida and Singletary be to duo moving forward, because obviously we saw these two. We saw Zach Moss inactive, which it was a little bit of a shocker, not too much of a shocker to some. I remember James calling me this week and say, "Hey, I think my Zach's gonna be inactive." And I was on the show the other week talking about I think we have room to carry all three, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, Breida and Singletary, can they lead us down the line? I mean, Devin's averaging like 5 yards to carry. Anybody knows that.
I mean, right now they gotta work with him as best as they can. This is all they got for the remainder of the season. I mean, I don't think they're gonna bring another guy in. Obviously, the emergence of Matt Breida has altered that. So I think the Bills try to build off of what's been going on lately in the run game. The outside zone has been working for them. But, you know, teams are going to eventually catch up to that too. So how do you be creative to, you know, still be effective in your run game? You can't keep running the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, all right, they got the little quick screen to Breida. They got the sweep to him now. So we're going to see something different. I seen Tennessee Titans, you know, run for damn near 300 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trapping, pulling, you know what I mean? Running off tackle with two running backs. So, I mean, I didn't want to say too much about Daboll about that because I'm quite sure that he saw that. He gets paid the big bucks to see those type of things, you know. I saw them with my EBT eyes. You know, so if I saw it, I'm quite sure he saw that too, and trying to make sure how can they find some success within, you know, their scheme of things, you know, based upon what they saw Tennessee do against, you know, that defense. You do got Spencer Brown back, you got John Feliciano back, so pretty much you got your starting core line back in the sauce. How healthy are they? We'll soon see. You know, especially with Spencer Brown dealing with COVID and Feliciano coming back with the injured calf. So it's still good to have those guys back. Having your guys full throttle breeds nothing but confidence within the scheme. But to what degree they was going to have to limit certain packages because of, you know, those guys being out for quite a while. But it's good to have Spencer Brown back. Whenever you get Spencer Brown back, that does wonders to the run game because he's a very important piece in the run game. When Spencer Brown is out there, the Bills' run game is probably at its best when running the football. And he's a rookie, so I think the Bills gonna look and find a nice size guard that size too. About good 6'7" guard. I think they're
350.
going to find next year to put right next to Spencer Brown. But then again, you got all these guys that's under contract. You just signed all your offensive linemen. So go figure. Somebody might be asked to take a pay cut.
Well, it's only one person on that offensive line that I can be thinking about has to take a pay cut, and that's somebody we made the highest paid in the league at one point. I'm just saying, ain't too many pay cuts to take outside that one deal.
Damn, when you look at a Dion, he signed his big deal last year. You look at
and his
2 years ago, excuse me, you got Feliciano, you got Williams, Morris, like you said, hot boy contract, $10 million per.
And Feliciano, not even that starter money really. He's like right under starter money. And actually, Dion deals declines every year. I think Dion's final year of his deal ends up, I think, like $8 million for the season, which for a left tackle was, starting. That's I used to call him being the burglar all the time. That's just highway robbery.
Man, they know how to do it. They know how to put it together. But
I think Mookie is asking for a Jamie Nails clone. If you guys go back with the Bills, you go way back with Jamie Nails. Jamie Nails is a big ass guard, man.
Yeah, they know we're gonna need one, or something that's athletic. If you're trying to zone, you're gonna have athletic guys. Nasty mauler guards like a Quentin Nelson type. We don't have that. I don't understand why we're running this type of style of run game. We don't have all the pieces. You got 2 out of 5. That's 40% of the scheme. It's not going to work. You need 100% of those pieces for it to work, and that's why you see the run game suffer.
Ideal ever moving, kicking in Deion Dawkins in the guard. If Spencer Brown continues on his trajectory.
That's a probability. Who knows? The Bills might go get out another swing tackle, slide Spencer Brown to the left side, move Dion in at left guard because Boddicker might be done. I don't know. I think he's on the last year of his contract. You still got Darrell Williams and Feliciano. Maybe you can move those guys, bump those guys down. Feliciano goes down the left guard. The Williams goes to right guard, and then you got Spencer Brown next year. That'll be your starting 5. I don't know. Miss Morris takes the pay cut, but that'll probably be potentially your starting 5 with Feliciano and Williams as your guards and Brown as your tackle. I think that was the starting lineup to start the season.
It was. Now personally, like I said, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but I'm still on the key with signing a Brandon Schrift for free agency, and I'm still on board with that. I like him as you know what? I know he's going to cost some money. I've already done the math on it. He's probably going to cost you about $15 million per year, honestly, to grab him. But I think you free up that cap space. You do what you got to do to fix this line. And I think if you make that move, and even if you have to move on from a Mitch Morris and slide Feliciano over to center, which I personally think he's better at center than he is guard. I think you get a little more versatile up front that way. Then I do so. Because then I'm looking at a lineup of Dawkins, Schroef, Morris, Darrell Williams, and our guy Spencer Brown over there. And I look at it off. I'm looking at versatility because I happen to think that Feliciano is a little bit more versatile than Mitch Morris. I think he's a little bit stronger than him in my opinion as well. But that's just me. Or once again, like you said, bring out a swing tackle in. If Spencer Brown continues his trajectory, he can slide over to left tackle. You move Dion to left guard. And now Dion at guard is a very scary thing. That's a very scary thing. And I don't know if people don't know how athletic Dion is, but he's extremely athletic. And that ain't somebody you want to see pulling around coming to see you.
I agree with that one. You know what I mean? I mean, even in certain packages, I will put Dion at guard. Just to move him around because he's so athletic.
They had something earlier in the season, right? Before Spencer Brown became a starter, they were bringing in Spencer and doing an off tackle set, right? And I think Dion was on the interior.
Yeah, but I'll run that by Daboll again and see, or I'll ask McDermott. Dion being so versatile, you need help. How
old is Morris?
Team inside.
29?
Mitch Morse, I think is 29.
I think he's 29.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, we won't get too far. But I mean, like I said, as far as the running back duo, I like it. I like Breida and Singletary. I don't know what's going to happen with Moss now. Like personally, I'm still a fan of having all three running backs on game day because I thought you saw when you got to the red zone the other day, that's where you saw where you missed Zach Moss inside that 6-7 yard line.
Yeah, he's 29. Mitch Morse is 29 years old.
Okay, cool. I thought he was short, but thank you for verifying that and answering Cindy's question. I think there's room for all three of them, and I don't know. I mean, I just it's this thing they just won't let go, and it happened with T.J. Yeldon last year too. We would not carry him on the game day roster to save our lives. Just carry the four backs and see what happens.
You gotta put Zach Moss in certain situations. He's a downhill runner. I know he was a zone type in Utah, but in the NFL, he's more of a downhill type of back. Let his shoulders get squared so he can have a chance at the point of attack against linebackers and run those guys over. Playing zone, he loses a lot of leverage, and he's not as patient as he is in college running zone. You have to be a little bit more patient and quicker to read things, and I think that's where he's struggling on this level. So what do you do to fix that? A big back like that, you just give him the ball downhill. You know what I mean? Just block down, kick out, and see if a guy want to meet him one-on-one in the hole. That's what we should be doing with Zach Moss. That's the type of back he is. A downhill style, nasty runner. It's going to give you 4 or 5 yards of crack, and put him in one-on-one situations where it's just him and the linebacker one-on-one in the hole. I like those odds every time, but I think he's just not really a scheme fit to what they're trying to do. He don't have the speed to get outside, especially if we're just an outside run team. He definitely don't fit, because I don't see him having the speed to get around the edge. So I'll run him more downhill where he can be more effective.
Well, that's the biggest difference. You said you said it right. In Utah, he was outside zone and more of a zone running back, but that's college, like you said. That's a big difference from linebacker speed and corner and safety speed. Those 0.2 of a second that people say, what's the difference between a 4.4 and a 4.6, or what's the difference between a 4.6 and a 4.8? Well, that's where it shows. That's where it shows in the NFL. So I still think there's room for all three running backs on this roster. I think Zach was the guy who had 2 touchdowns versus the Patriots last season. I think that we really going to miss him around the goal line. But I got this strange feeling that if Breida and Singletary are running like they ran last game and it's effective and they can do more versatile things with them, we may not see Zach Moss the rest of the season. So I mean that's unfortunate because I think he is a talented kid. And I'm not saying that because I work with him. I'm saying because I think he's a talented player. I think there's room for all three guys, just like I banked the table with T.J. Yeldon last year. So we'll see what they do. They haven't done it yet, so it'd be far-fetched to believe that they're going to carry 4 running backs on the game day roster, and you can't take Taiwan Jones off the roster. If you guys don't understand what Taiwan Jones does during the game, then you just not watching and you don't understand football. Because Taiwan Jones is a dog. Glad to have him. Glad to not have to go against him. But we're going to move on to we're going to just break down this Patriot game a little bit tonight, man. Normally we don't do too much game previewing, but this is Patriot week, man. Don't nothing else really matter. Patriot week, playing for first place. And you know what, Moo? I'm gonna put it this way, right? Last year we beat the Patriots twice and we quote unquote dethroned them. It was a COVID year, no fans. They had a ton of players opt out. I'm not making excuses for them at all. Trust me, I ain't getting no excuses. But they did have a lot of key players opt out and things of that such. You're trying to figure out the quarterback position without Tom Brady. They're number 1 by a half a game in the AFC East right now. They're coming to Buffalo on Monday Night Football. Bill Belichick has a team that he likes, that he spent the most money, most guaranteed money in free agency history on. He's drafted the players he wants, and he has a quarterback he wants. We have our quarterback. He signed long term. He's paid. We got a number one receiver. We have our offensive line. We have our defensive lineman supposedly. Unfortunately, we just lost our number one corner. Not making excuses. This is the way that you're supposed to dethrone them. It wasn't the way we got it last year. Right here, right now, is the way that we're supposed to dethrone them. This is the way that it's supposed to go down. This is the way it's supposed to be. This is divine intervention. This is how you take down Belichick and you beat him. You beat him when he has a high. You don't kick him when they're on the side of the road and down. They coming off a 36-13 victory against the Tennessee Titans, the same Titans who beat us. Obviously, minus Derrick Henry now. This is the way it's supposed to be. Bills, Pats, this is the way, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we understand, what happened with New England last year. No Tom Brady for the first time in 20 years. You lose, Hightower, Cordy Chung. So you lost some quality pieces in that defense last year. But this year, Belichick went to the strip club. Spent some money a little bit. They brought Keith Van Noy back. They got Matt Judon and Hightower and those guys is back. J.C. Jackson is a carbon copy of Stephon Gilmore, and here it is. New England is back in the sauce. They got Christian Barrymore, the rookie from Alabama, looking like a baby Vince Wilfork in the interior. So they do a good job every year drafting, and Bill Belichick is one of the best that ever did it. So he has the ingredients, he knows the recipes, he's definitely know what he's looking for. So it's not more or less of a rebuild. It was just more of reloading, and it took a season, but we know that New England is going to be right back in the race. So it's only fitting to beat them, like you said, with their best unit. Other than Tom Brady, this is their best unit by far. So, here it is. New England's best this year versus the Bills' best this year. So we'll see what weighs out. Do we have ourselves a true new rivalry? And this is a tough match for the Bills right now because a lot is at stake. A lot is at stake. So this is definitely a must win because a loss will basically put the Bills out of the wild card right now. What I mean? So that's how crazy it is, at this point. This is a must win for both teams. You go from division winner to potentially not even getting a wild card spot. That's how tight this AFC is. So, this is definitely a must win for, not only both teams, but more or less the Bills.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. And I keep saying every single show right now, especially in AFC, NFL in general, parity is at an all-time high. And I go back to last year saying that when this happens, when you have the changing of the guards from the quarterbacks, you got the Brady's, the Rodgers, and the Breeze who retired now, the Phillip Rivers who's retired. Those guys are leaving the game, and now you have your next batch. And when your next batch is first coming in, just like when Kelly and Marino's guys came in, it's like the wild, wild west until the dust settles. And then you have your your 2 or 3 elite ones, your 4, maybe 4. And then everybody's kind of like, okay, cool. This is where we sit. This is where we level and off at. This is why it's this way. And this game in particular, and the next game versus New England, is Josh's chance to put himself. We want to call him elite. We want to say it, but we don't want to fully believe it yet. Not yet. Some people do, some people don't. The national media, they go up and down, and they tell lies. We know how national media is. They get this it's about getting views and ratings. This is his chance. You got Monday Night Football, not with the Patriots being 3-7 or 4-6. They're a half a game ahead of you. This is the chance to give it back to them.
Yeah, they're 8-4. They're on a 6-game winning streak, and they haven't played nobody neither. And that's the thing. Like, New England play the same damn teams the Bills play, right?
Right.
But they don't get the benefit of the fact of they're playing the weakest schedule in the NFL. Well, guess what? So are the damn New England Patriots.
Same schedule.
So they don't make that excuse for them. But when it's the Bills, they got to go try and find something. Oh well, you zip the Dolphins. Yeah, they're the worst in the league. Oh, you zipped Houston. Oh, they're the worst. Do you know how hard it is to hold a team from scoring no points, in the NFL, let alone, so but on the flip side, New England gets praised for it. And
Right.
that's what I'm tired of. I'm tired of that. What I mean? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. They playing the same guy. Look, they laud New England on. Oh, look at how they beat Tennessee. They went in it and beat Tennessee. But guess what? Tennessee didn't have no Derrick Henry, no Julio Jones,
No
no
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. They're missing guys on their defense, and they gave up damn near 300 yards on the ground. If it wasn't for the turnovers, it'll be a totally different football game. So they got away with one there. So the Bills got to play a perfect game against New England in order to win. What I mean? You can't turn the ball over. New England thrives off that. You can't turn the ball over against a team like New England. So they're gonna have to play their best game to beat this New England Patriots team. And they got to be aggressive too. They can't be conservative or passive aggressive. They got to be. They got to play with their chests out. They got to play like they're the AFC East defending champions.
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of it's going to come down to who's going to set the tone first. You can't let Bill Belichick's Patriots come into your house and set the tone first, because we know that's exactly what they want to do. They want to hit you hard. They want to put you down early. They want to pin you down. New England, when I've watched the games, and I've watched, obviously, if you guys know anything about me, I live in Patriot country. So I get every New England game. And I've sat and watched almost every single one, just as much as I watched the Bills, or simultaneously if I had to. They struggle when you need Mac Jones to stretch the ball down the field. They're a run-first team, pass second. Everything comes off the play action. And, I mean, he's a rookie quarterback. And honestly, for a rookie quarterback, I'm going to give Mac his roses why he's here right now. Mac looks extremely good for a rookie quarterback. Extremely polished, but he makes a lot of mistakes when he's trying to push the ball down the field, and they need him to stretch it. That's when he struggles. And that's why, as much as good as Buffalo's running game is, and we're going to play that Brian Daboll clip that you had too, because he talked about the challenges to play faces New England defense when you asked him. As good as this Bills running game can possibly be against this New England team, who gave like 300 yards rushing against Tennessee last week against Hilliard and Foreman, we need to pass this ball a yard and pin them down early to pull them out of their run game, because that's how they almost beat us last year in the first matchup, was running the ball methodically down the field. We need to make them have this rookie quarterback come into our territory. 70,000 screaming Bills fans on Monday Night Football. I know half of you going to be drunk before the game time, because the game's at 8:15 at night, because I know you be drunk at 9 a.m. in the morning. So we need to make him uncomfortable. But I want to play that Brian Daboll clip when he's talking about facing the challenge in defense, because that was a very good question he asked him, and he gave some insight to how he feels about it.
Coach Daboll, Muki Hawkins, Buffalo Sports 80. How's it going today?
Good, Luke. How are you?
I'm good, man. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. Yours?
Oh, it was great, man. Anytime you can break bread with family, and it's always a good thing, right? Coach, the last 6 games, New England defense has given up 10 points per game and probably played more zone than ever before this season. So, what type of challenges will this offense face with this New England defense?
Yeah, the last 4 they've given up about 6, 15.8 per game. Got a lot of really good players on all 3 levels. They're very well coached. They play their techniques well. They're fundamentally sound. They tackle well. They get the ball out. It's typical New England defense. Well coached, good smart players, physical, tough, and take the ball away. They're Coach Belichick, obviously one of the greatest ever. Had the privilege to be around him, and that's always been a trademark, is take the ball away. I think it's like 174 and 18 or something like that, with a +1 turnover ratio, somewhere around there. So it'll be a huge challenge.
Yeah, he talked about the challenge in New England, but he sounded very confident to me. I don't know what you got from when you talked to him. I want you to break down what he was talking about, man.
Well, he was giving, just giving praise. Basically, he knows coming from New England, what Bill Belichick is capable of. He knows what Bill Belichick's look for, when it comes to preparing to beat a team, and that's what they strive to do. They strive to, um, play mistake-free football. The quarterback is just the greatest game manager. He's not the elite QB. He can be, as long as he's efficient and let the game comes to him. Don't try to step outside of yourself, and and run the offense. They have one of the top rushing attacks in the NFL, and that poses a threat to a Buffalo Bills team. They don't do well with teams that have elite running backs or thrives on running the football. And New England thrives on running the football, and they do it by committee. And I asked Coach McDermott, today as well, how are they going to be able to stop that sweep? I asked Coach Frazier as well, because it's a play that I know it's their bread and butter. I see New England run this damn sweep each week against everybody, and it's the same result. I have not seen any team that was able to stop the New England Patriots sweeping the football. I mean, this is like elementary out here. It's just, student body right, student body left, and they're so good with it. They can do it from either side. They could do it from the play side. They could do it from the back side. So it makes it difficult to read if you see, strong right, and they're tossing it left to the weak, and nobody's there. So it's going to be quite the chess match this Monday night. And, New England's definitely you're going to see that sweep. You're going to see that sweep a lot, on Monday night. So the Bills need to be prepared for that.
Right. Speaking of Monday night, if you guys are actually in the area, I forgot to put the promo flyer. You put it on our page this week. Saturday afternoon, I'll actually be back in Buffalo for the weekend. So if you guys are around, you want to have a drink or something like that, something going down, hit me up. Maybe I'll pop up. I don't know. I'll be busy, but I'll pop up. Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. over there at is it Spear Lanes in 500 Pearl? Stevie Johnson, Aaron Williams, former receiver Kevin Elliott. They're having a combination of Wolfpack clothing, and 1 to 4, I think it's free bowling. So come on down there, call that Bowlerama. So yeah, former Bills receiver Stevie Johnson, former safety Aaron Williams, and Spencer Sidestick of Wolfpack Clothing. They're going to be having a free 1 to 4 bowling thing down there, Bowlerama. So I'll be down there hanging out and stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe you catch me and Aaron. I'm on Chippewa this weekend. They always catch us on Chippewa. Maybe I'll be in town. So the boys are back in town. We have us a little bit of fun. But maybe Mook show too. Maybe y'all come down to Mook and Mook have a press conference with y'all and just talk. Y'all can ask him 1,000 questions while you got it for 3 hours.
It might pop up like a computer virus down there on site.
Yeah. Don't say virus in these times.
Computer virus, guys. Right?
Don't even say the word virus in these times.
I know, right? Right.
Oh man,
pop up like a zit, I guess, huh?
That's it, zit. Yeah, that's better. That's better. But no, man, I think that it's gonna be a big statement game for the Bills. This is a game like this where you're playing a tough defense. This is what we pay money for to Cole Beasley. This is what we traded for Stephon Diggs. This is what we brought into Emmanuel Sanders for. This is why we waited on the development for Dawson Knox. These guys got to eat. It's time.
Well, they better find a way to get Stephon Diggs the ball. As you see, when we isolate Stephon Diggs, he dances with the stars.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we need to let him continue to keep dancing the way he danced on Marshawn Lattimore and finessed them real easy for 6. We got to do those type of deals. And special teams, I think, we're soon to forget that, special teams, New England are sticklers for, hanging their hat on that. And, they got one of the best special team aces, a long time in Matthew Slater.
Yeah.
Marquez Stevenson just got activated. I didn't think he didn't do too bad. It wasn't too shabby. He almost had a little hiccup there, but, he was able to, get a hold of the ball. Not bad for his first professional game, and being thrown out there under the circumstances. So that's something you're going to have to keep an eye out on too. You know, this is the third of the game, and playing the New England team, you're going to have to beat New England in all three phases in
All
order to
three.
win.
Yeah.
So, you know, special teams is definitely going to be key this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be key. And like I said, we give Buffalo their praises for special teams because, like I said, they have been one of the best special teams units in in the league. But I can't wait to see that JC Jackson matchup versus Stephon Diggs because I actually like JC Jackson, but I think he's an arrogant corner. Now, mind you, there's a thin line between arrogant and greatness, and he has 7 interceptions for a reason. But Stephon Diggs tore his ass up. I'm plain and simple, he tore his ass up last year. And if he gets arrogant again like that, and they think they can match a one-on-one, I think Diggs gonna tear his ass up again. So that's a matchup I'm picking on. I'm picking on that matchup. So we're gonna see what happens, man. This is a big game. I mean, maybe you hear from us later in the week again. I don't know. Like I said, it's a statement game. Buffalo, a game that they really need to win before heading to Tampa Bay because this next stretch is a little tough.
Right.
This next stretch is a little tough. But hey, Mook, man, any parting words? You got anything going on? What's going on in your neighborhood, man? What's up?
Well, you know, yeah, like you said, you guys, Stevie Johnson will be, you know, on deck. He'll be having a football training camp on that same Saturday, you know, at Johnny B. Roddy, the old rock pile, I think from 9 to 12. So, you know, it's free camp. You know, bring all your kids out that's, you know, has admirations on learning the game, courtesy of your boy, you know what I mean, Stevie Johnson, you know what I mean? So he'll be in the place. You can also, you know, I'll be on radio tomorrow night. So everybody that's tuned in, you can, you know, hear me on radio. You can call in the Waffle Radio Late Night Sports tomorrow. You can, you know, check all the clips. I got some more clips to put up. So, you know, you can check me out on Twitter all day.
Yeah, man. If anything, you guys are probably, you know, I gotta check my work schedule. I don't think I gotta see if I think I'll be back on. I should be back on next Tuesday. Yeah, because I don't work late Tuesday, so I should be back on next Tuesday. Win or lose, we'll be back here. I don't believe we're gonna do a post game show right after the game because that's just way too late to do that. But I think you will see me back next Tuesday. So we'll break down whatever happens. Hopefully it's a Bills win next Tuesday. Hopefully we have Mallory back in the house, and then who knows? Let's see. Maybe we'll get a guest on next week. You know what I mean? If they win, maybe we get a guest. If they lose, man, I ain't bringing nobody on there. Just keeping it 100.
27, 25 Bills on Monday night.
You going, and you know the over under 3.5. I know you're a betting guy, like you said.
Yeah.
New England covering, always covering, right?
They're gonna cover.
Okay.
It's gonna be a late field goal.
I'm going the same thing. Tyler Bass wins this game. I think Tyler Bass wins this game. So, hey, we'll see what happens, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for commenting and keeping the show informative and active. Cindy Martinez, my girl Cindy says 38-1. I didn't even get a 1.
I like how Cindy think. I like how she thinks.
Cindy be on it, man. I'm not gonna lie. Cindy be on her stuff, man. I love Cindy. She's great.
My boy
she
Joey.
said 17, huh?
17. I see my boy Joey. I see my boy Cody in there, man. I appreciate your comments. I see Fred's in there posting.
Yeah, Fred in there. Yeah. So no, a lot of people wanted to be so late, but yeah, man. How'd your high school team do?
We took an L, man, in the semis.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't show up. We showed up there with 4 flat tires, man, and you know, season's over.
Well, you know
great run though.
Great season nonetheless. Hats off to you guys over there, man, doing thing. And let's go Bennett Tigers now down the line. Now I'm gonna make sure I shout out Bennett Tigers. Shout out Bennett Tigers, my man, Wani Todd over there. DeJuan Todd, CC Pride, stand up. So yeah, man. But hey, Mook, thanks for joining me in tonight and coming on. And we'll see everybody next Tuesday, man. Another informative show. Hopefully a dethroning will happen this Monday night. So to all you guys, thank you guys. If you guys are out there shopping for Christmas and things like that, the holidays are hectic and crazy. So try to keep your stress level down. Be safe. Be careful. You know, it's a lot of dangers out there in the world. And as always, thank you for tuning in and watching the show and support, man. We will catch y'all next time. Peace.